out in public. They've released a model that is extraordinarily good, that people really like, and it's one that we can pull in our own infrastructure and run and ensure that it's not actually calling out to China. You can actually take these models, fine tune them yourselves if you want to. OpenAI is not open, but yet they are trying to block the only companies that I believe are actually trying to be open. DeepSeek, if you think about all the companies, we have Quinn and we have DeepSeek. We have Llama. DeepSeek is probably one of the best in terms of being open weight and the usability of it. And they're trying to block it, so people are forced to go through OpenAI. And I try to avoid talking about this, but this really does irritate me. And just to dig into this article, the article states it's unclear whether OpenAI's references to models are meant to refer to the API. And I could get behind that a little bit. Right, we are sending and calling APIs that are deployed in China's infrastructure, and they have data governance rules that are very different than other parts of the world. Fine. But I actually don't think that's what this is about. They said PRC developed models. And I'll explain that a little bit in this bottom quote. But DeepSeek's open models don't contain mechanisms that would allow the Chinese government to siphon user data. If you were to host DeepSeek R1 on your own infrastructure, how is it going to report back to China? You can literally firewall it if you want to. You can block it. And then this is a follow up that OpenAI did. So this is at the bottom of the article a few days later. They say, we are not advocating for restrictions on people using models like DeepSeek. So I was like, okay, maybe I misunderstood that. What we're proposing are changes to US export rules that would allow additional countries to access US compute on the condition that their data centers don't rely on PRC technology that presents security risk. Okay, so you don't care if I'm running it, but we don't want PRC technology or DeepSeek running in a data center? Is that what that's saying? Instead of restricting their access to chips based on the assumption that they will divert technology to the PRC, the goal is more compute and more AI for more countries and more people. They need to come out and just clearly say what they mean. I'm still reading this as we do not want any PRC technology in our data centers here in the United States. And it just makes me think it all comes back to money. OpenAI is losing money. If you look at the demand that DeepSeek has had, they have probably siphoned a lot of the traffic that was going to OpenAI over to them. And if DeepSeek R2 comes out or DeepSeek V4 comes out and it's good and not expensive, they're going to be in trouble. And another thing I want to say is the more regulation we have, the more it will kill startups and newcomers. We do not want a world where OpenAI and maybe one or two others control all of the AI technology. We do not want that. Now, whether you're a fan of China or not, I have my own concerns with China. I worry about that a lot. But if they are releasing something open source that we can test and ensure that isn't reporting back or stealing our data in some way, it is a model I'm running on my own infrastructure. We should not ban that from the United States. We should not penalize people for running it. We should not penalize data centers for hosting it. And we should use this technology that they've opened to us and make our stuff better. And part of me really is disappointed in how this is playing out. Because going back to that interview I showed earlier, I knew they were playing a game. They're trying to unrestrict themselves while restricting competition. And I think the way they see it right now is DeepSeek is probably their biggest competition because DeepSeek has two incredible models. They have open source tons of technology, and OpenAI is about as closed as you could possibly be. And maybe the one last note I'd say is don't forget, Sam Altman is also the founder of WorldCoin. And WorldCoin is that company that has this eye scanner. So it copies the biometrics of your eye and marks you as being a real human. There is definitely multiple things happening here. And I'm not exactly sure how WorldCoin is going to play into all this. I have my theories on it. But I think they're playing a game that is just dangerous for America. I think the one shining hope we have is David Sachs. Whether you're a fan of him or not, I don't think he's a fool. I think he will see what OpenAI is trying to do. And I remember watching him on a podcast back in the past, and he basically was a big fan of what DeepSeek was doing. So I think our one hope is that the AI czar does not actually recommend these things that OpenAI is recommending. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to me. And I really hope that the government shuts this down. And I really hope OpenAI doesn't end up in a place where they can push like governmental oversight or banning of things from other countries. People should have a choice to use what they want to use. So on the other side is like none of these AI companies are treating our data privately. If you look at most of them, they're using our data for training. And the easiest way to see that is to go to OpenRouter and look at this. By default, model training is turned on so that any input that goes in, they can use your data to train on. And I'm pretty sure, even if I turn this off, there are some LLMs that don't even follow that permission. I don't think you can opt out of all of them. Yeah, and look, you can read it here. Note that until full encryption arrives for LLMs, this cannot be guaranteed. So no matter what data you're feeding into any LLM, it is going to them, whether that's DeepSeek or OpenAI or Anthropic or Quinn. You need to just know that. Yeah, it all comes back to money. I'm incredibly disappointed in what's happening right now. I hope the government ignores OpenAI's request. I hope DeepSeek keeps grinding away and proving that they can innovate in ways that OpenAI can't. I'm really hoping OpenAI starts changing their ways a little bit and open sourcing more and more of their technology. I do think XAI with Grok, I love their strategy. Keep a model private until the next model comes out. Like we should be able to have open source versions of OpenAI models that are a few years old. I would be totally fine with that. You don't need to open source it right away. DeepSeek may end up doing that, and I am fine with that approach. Keep your competitive advantage until you get to the next iteration. I'd be curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. I'm just disappointed in this whole thing. Till next time, everyone. Peace out.